Good morning, Henry.
Good morning, Mom. You look tired.
Yes, I had a very long day at work yesterday. I worked a 3-day shift this week and it's catching up to me.
Is that why you came home late last night?
Yes, sweetie, the toilets were clogged and contaminated the air in the entire factory.
I'm sorry, Mom.
You don't have anything to be sorry about.
What's this on the table?
Oh, that's a campaign poster for the new politician Arthur Bright. He's fighting for us to have more freedom and rights when it comes to the working class.
What do you mean?
Basically, he's advocating for Marxist ideologies in our government. This means that there will no longer be class oppression, unlike now, where the working class is oppressed with all the unregulated rules we must follow.
Would I be able to go to school if he gets elected?
Well, yes, because education would be free and their wealth would also be distributed equally. His views are all about equality across the board for every citizen.
Oh, I see. I like this Arthur man.
Me too.
Okay, Mom. I have to go to work. I will be home tonight.
Okay, be safe, son.
Good morning, George. How are you? Ready for work?
I am good. You seem happy this morning. Were you able to afford a good breakfast?
Not exactly. My mom could only afford potatoes, not bread. But you are right. I am feeling happy this morning.
So, what happened then? Did you have meat for supper last night? Did your father get extra pay this week?
Not quite. But I would not be surprised if those things were to happen in the future.
Okay. What is that supposed to mean?
Well, I was talking with my mom this morning. Have you ever heard of Arthur Bright?
I may have heard the name, but I do not know him.
He's a politician. He talks about how we do not get treated nicely here at the factories. From what my mom told me, Arthur thinks we're too young for this dangerous work and should not be subjected to the physical labor and punishments we face from Mr. Ferguson. Instead, we should be given free education and experience the same type of life as Mr. Ferguson's children. He wants my parents to be paid more for the work they do and make these factories safe and clean for them.
Oh, wow. So he wants to help us out?
Exactly. People like us are very different from Mr. Byron. We must work and get no money. And he does none of the work, but he has the most money. Arthur wants to change that to make our lives and our parents' lives easier. My mom says he is an advocate and will help us.
That is great. I know my parents work long hours and do hard work, but nothing seems to help. Arthur seems like he cares that we are safe, not like Mr. Byron.
Boys, you are asking for a punishment with this outlandish conversation. No such talk should be conducted here at your place of work, or anywhere for that matter. You are lucky we let you misbehaving boys keep a job here and get paid for the lousy work you do. Now get inside and get to work. Do not be surprised if Mr. Byron hears of this. Hello, Byron. Sorry to interrupt, but I have some important news I think you would like to know about.
Take a seat, James. What is on your mind?
Well, Byron, I overheard some of the factory workers discussing the ideas of a politician who goes by the name Arthur Bright.
What ideals does this man have?
He wants to ruin our livelihood, taking our young workers away from us, creating better working conditions stating that ours are not well as cutting back on our hours of operation.
That is truly ridiculous. These men, women, and children work for me. Conversations in the workplace among fellow workers is prohibited. I'm above them. No politician should be coming around here ruining my livelihood.
I agree, Byron. Something must be done to these individuals who are spreading Arthur Bright's ideas around the working floor.
They must be reprimanded for these ideas. Give Martha and Henry extra hours of work as well as suspending their breaks until further notice.
Yes, sir. I will put that into effect as of today. Hey, you two, come here right now.
Is something wrong, Miss Ferguson?
Your boy here was saying some nasty things about the boss, and the very fine establishment that he's lucky to be working at.
Is my son not allowed to voice his own opinions?
Well, I see where he gets his rudeness from. Just for that and your boy's ungrateful behavior, neither of you should expect to have any intermission for dinner.
Mom, we didn't even have breakfast today.
Don't worry, sweetheart. We'll figure something out, I promise. We can't be living life like this. It's not right. Mr. Bright, I need to speak with you, sir.
Is something wrong, ma'am? Anything I can do to help?
I understand you're probably very busy, but you must know about the treatment of the labor workers in the textile factory.
Of course. Tell me everything.
I've been following your campaign and I appreciate how you've become a voice for the people. I was telling my young son about your ideas, and while he was getting into work, he was telling his friends. He was overheard by the factory manager, who then told the owner, Baron. The next day, we were confronted. Just because of voicing our opinions about the harsh treatment we received, our one intermission from work to eat was taken from us.
That's awful, and the way your son and you are being treated is inhumane.
That's not even the worst part, sir.
Believe me, I know. I've been hearing stories like yours since I started my campaign. I believe I can help you. Tomorrow, I would like to personally meet Mr. Byron. Maybe I can knock some sense into him.
Thank you so much, sir. That would mean the world, not only to me, but to the other workers in the factory.
Hello, Mr. Byron, Mr. Ferguson. I've been informed by many of my followers that you seem to be strongly against my campaign.
You are here to destroy my business and my way of life, just like all the other so-called activists.
We treat our workers just as well as anyone. What right do you have to speak otherwise?
Gentlemen, please, allow me to speak to you my goals for our society and the entirety of the workforce. I'm quite sure we can come to an agreement regarding the possible improvements to the current conditions that could help everybody.
We're listening.
As I'm sure you have noticed, your production most certainly drops when your workers have become over-encumbered. I proposed modest restrictions that would limit the hours worked by your employees, but that would ensure a more livable wage and more production during the hours that they are actually working.
I must admit, Mr. Byron, he does serve a fair point. I do notice a rather dramatic decline in our production in the later hours of the day and week.
Well, Mr. Bright, I will say you do, in fact, make a solid argument. However, what is this talk that you want to remove the child laborers from my workforce? They provide extra income for their families. And how would their loss of production be made up?
Well, my good gentleman, I again must ask, is it not true that the child laborers are the least skilled of your workforce? It is likely that they produce the least of your demographics. So I ask then further, is it not only morally just to remove these laborers, but also would it truly cut much of your production in the first place? I argue that it would be incremental at best.
I admit I once again find it very difficult to argue your point, Mr. Bright.